program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
The impala are walking one by one in the morning light. This is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live, you are live.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sunrise Safari. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Craig, and we are bringing you a live and interactive safari. So if you've just joined us for the first time, a big welcome to all of you. You can actually ask myself and Tristan questions, and you can do so by hashtagging Safari Live on Twitter. Now, there were a couple of animals calling throughout the night, so hopefully we'll either find some lions. I didn't really hear Tinyo calling. I don't know if he's maybe moved, or he moved very quietly last night. But we had a great day yesterday. Now, I do want to apologize in case you heard me say anything that maybe should not have been said. We didn't know we were live. But we'll swiftly move on and move past that, and we'll continue, and we'll be well-behaved adults now. Let's go see what else we can find, though. Now, Tristan, I think, said he's going to do a northern boundary patrol, because we do know that the Agama pride have been in Buffelshoek, so they hopefully would have come back south. They don't normally stay in Buffelshoek for too long unless they make a kill. So I think first things first is we're going to go back to the spot where we had Tinyo last night, around Pangolin Track, Twin Dams, and we'll see if he isn't maybe still lying about. He did have a very great... Are you awake this morning, Craigie? There we go. Well, you can see I've got freckles on my nose as well. Right. What a wonderful start to the morning. Isn't this great? I'm just trying to think which way we're going to go. If we're going to go Philemon's Dip. Yes, we'll go Philemon's Dip, and then we'll go Weaver's Nest. Let's see what else is happening. With some starlings. Hello, Birchall starlings. Let's see if we can find one of them to say good morning to. Always a good animal to start with. Not just one type of starling, but two different species. No, there's only two on the ground. Those are the Cape Glossy starlings. Just to the top left of them, a Birchall starling landed. Not uncommon to see these two species together. Oh, there we go. We've got a third contender this morning, a red-billed hornbill. Well, this must be a food party then, if there's so many different species bouncing about here. So I wonder what insects they are chasing around this morning. But don't they look beautiful against the orange colours and the yellows, especially those bright bluebirds? I think that's quite a nice contrast. And they don't blend into the vegetation very well at all, so they don't have camouflage like a leopard or a lion does. Maybe in the tops of a green tree they'll blend in, but down on the yellow grass, they stand out like a sore thumb. There's one, walking about looking for little insects now. I reckon if you found some fresh elephant dung, birdie, you might get lucky this morning and be able to get an early morning meal. But not just yet. Doesn't look like it's managed to pick up anything at all. Right, let's carry on. Let's see what else we can find. So I heard a lioness call, but I don't know where it came from, because I was inside, I was brushing my teeth. So the sound of me brushing my teeth, and then also from the bathrooms, couldn't really get a clear idea as to where that sound was coming from, but maybe Tristan will have some luck traversing the northern boundary. But speaking of Tristan, let's go across to him and see how his search is going.
Well, we've momentarily stopped, Taylor, because it's a beautiful skyline on the western skyline, which is not common in the mornings. Generally, that's our sunset skyline, but there's a beautiful colour showing up as the sun is rising on the eastern side. Now, as Taylor mentioned, my name is Tristan. On camera today I've got Sebastian. Were we on Batcam, Seb, or has Batcam been retired? I think Batcam's been retired. Maybe Batcam's with Batman this morning. That's probably where it is. Right, it is a live interactive experience. That means you can get hold of us. #Safari Live on Twitter. We are going to be checking the northern boundary for any signs of these lions of Taylor herd. Hopefully the Nkulma Pride is back in this area. It's been a long time since I've seen them, and I'm really hoping that wherever they've been in the last 2 days that they've managed to find a meal of some sort, because Taylor was telling me that they were looking quite skinny the last time she saw them. Right, Seb, onward we go. Let's try and see what we can find and see if there are any lions about. I was also coming up this way just checking, because you never know with Shadow. She seems to cruise around all over these places, and last night, well, she dealt the hammer blow when I was driving around and found her tracks fresh on top of our vehicle tracks, and then they went into Arathusa, and that was the last hurrah in terms of leopard tracking yesterday, because, well, we just tracked leopards all over the place off of Djuma. So hopefully today is going to be the complete opposite, and all of those lovely leopards are going to come this side and come and try and sort of see what's going on and see what's happening on Djuma, and we'll be able to find them then. Right, now while I head up to the boundary and cross little Gremlinville by Sydney's Dam. Oh, hello Impala. Luckily I didn't have to chase it out the road. But while I go that way and check what's going on, I believe Mr. James Henry is around and about and is with the balloon. So let's go across to him and see how he's doing this morning. And don't tell him I stole his blanket.
Now, hello everybody there in the marvellous Sabi sand. You find us floating here above the Mara with a yellow-billed stork there. That is marvellous indeed, and I hope you're all having a wonderful drive there in the Sabi sand, and wonderful to bring you back here to the Mara. #Safari Live, any questions or comments that you might have, we'd love to answer them. We are of course also live on the Governor's Balloon Safari Facebook page. They are the operators of these balloons. Wonderful experience that they offer to countless numbers of guests every single day. There we have an enormous raft of hippo. I'm not sure what that is. I think it's a camp of some sort. And I've just watched the balloon floating gently over the cul-de-sac crossing. That's where they are there. That's where that vehicle is. And we have a camera embedded in the bank there. And, oh, there's a zebra actually about to, and there's a crocodile going to the zebra. That is amazing. Now, I don't know where to look. That zebra is in some trouble now. This is unbelievable. To be seeing this from a balloon is fantastic. Wow. Crazy zebra. Get out of the water. Phew. Lions coming now from the other side. Oh my goodness. We've just watched a kill live from the balloon. Senzo, hold it steady. This is the Paradise Pride. They're killing a zebra live on the balloon. We had no idea this was going to happen. That is a fully grown zebra. These two lionesses have smashed it to the ground. My heart is absolutely pounding. The zebra's still alive, and we are unfortunately not going to be able to stay with them for very long because the balloon is moving away. Here comes a big male from the other side. That could be Scarface, the male lion, the most famous lion in the world, quite possibly. Now, this is the Paradise Pride, I think, and they are renowned for doing this. They are renowned for sitting either side of the main crossings. They know them as well as we do. And they wait for animals to come across the water and then grab them. They lurk on the banks, watching to see the exhausted creatures coming across the river, and then they pounce. That was spectacular. Fully grown zebra managed to get away from the crocodile. Oh, shame, and just hammered by the lions. We watched them do exactly the same thing last year. They killed a wildebeest live, totally by surprise, at one of the crossings. One of the most heart-wrenching and heart-stopping moments of my wildlife career, and that was another one right there. And isn't it amazing how fleeting this balloon experience is? how there is no prediction, there's no way of hanging around there. We've watched something quite profound. We've watched life being snuffed out of a zebra, and now suddenly we're back over the peace of the river and out into the open plains again. The chances of that happening and seeing that are minute. Just minute. I think we'll just take a moment to have a breath there. Wow. Shamsan, you say, can we send a car down to the zebra kill? I don't know if, no, we're not actually sending a vehicle out this morning, and it's, by the time we get there, well, they'll be feeding, but it's a good hour and a bit away from where we're sitting now. Wowee. It's difficult to give an impression of what we think. I suggest all of you now, please send through a one-word tweet and tell us how that made you feel. For me, transient is the word I'm going to use. It's because the experience of watching it happen so fast, life being this definitely transient experience here in an area like this, and at the same time being unable to stop and watch it unfold. And now a hippo going about its life completely unaffected, we think, by the demise of that zebra. Obviously everything out here is completely interconnected, and in some small way I guess the zebra's departure from this life must in some way affect that hippo. Goodness gracious. Baba Gia, you say stay with the kill. Well, that's the whole point, Baba. We can't stay with the kill, can we? We're in a balloon. There is no way to make this balloon stop. It must just keep going, just like life. And Ken, you say nature. Crystal, you say surreal. Sharon, you say sad. Tigger, you say zebralicious, which is, well, yes, slightly morbid, but fair enough. Brenda, you say awe. Glendy, you say captivated. It is totally captivating, isn't it? It's profound. It's a profound experience to watch something like that, especially from the balloon where you can't stop and watch it happening, because it just gives you an impression about how the rest of this world is going on around us. The rest of this wilderness is just continuing despite the ultimate trauma or sacrifice that zebra has just made to this area. Good grief. Yeah, many of you are shocked, mind blown, speechless, amazing. All those vehicles are going across there. Now there's obviously a radio network, and it's been called in by that one vehicle that was there, quite by chance, quite luckily, watching. And we saw that quite astonishing sight there of a zebra killing. All right, everybody, we're about to land the balloon. We're going to hand you back to Sabi Sand now, to Taylor. She's on safari there. If those of you watching the balloon broadcast want to go there, Wild Safari Live is how you can join Tristan and Taylor on safari. What an experience. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back. How great was that with the zebra and James? James, you're on form this morning. Now I'm going to jump out because I think we've got wild dog tracks here. There's also hyena tracks, which would be quite nice because I might be able to show you the comparison. I just want to find some that are close enough together and that are in the sand. Okay, so let me show you a nice hyena track first. If you look over here, this big footprint over here, look at the size comparison to my hand. Hyena tracks, and particularly spotted hyena tracks, are not small. They're quite large, as you can see. And of course the pad is quite wide here at the back, only 2 lobes, and the toes have got that very, no, I need one piece of grass. You see, they've got those bean shaped toes. Now let me go a little bit further away, and I want to show you a wild dog track that's slightly more narrow. They see they're just not pressed into the sand. They're a lot fresher than the hyena tracks. Where's a really good one? You need it close because you really want to be looking on top of the track when you're in the cars, and the light is so terrible. Now I've got to find a decent one. I don't actually think you're going to be able to see the wild dog track very nicely now. We'll have to use this one over here. I don't think you're going to be able to see it. See, it's slightly it's quite long, this track over here, but it's not as sort of broad as a hyena track. Now, the same thing goes for a young hyena. The track will still be quite broad. It's not necessarily going to be as narrow. You won't be able to see it. Sorry, the light is too poor, and the angle at which the camera is looking down on, just from looking at other footage, I don't think you're going to see it at all. So you just have to take my word for it, but it's going down that way. So let's go down that way too. I can only see one track though. Just going to check here. Maybe we'll pick up a nice track here in the sand. Let me just have a look. Better. No. Hyenas are that way. I'm gonna check. This is the hard part. I want to make sure that I drive in the right direction. Treehouse Dam is down that way. Let's go along Shubamo though. Let's just take a gamble and go have a look down this way. Now, the only thing though is most of you who have seen wild dogs on the show before will know just how quickly they actually move. And if you're not right behind them, wow. But hang on, I'm going to show you something else that's wow. Craig seems to be the king of sunsets and sunrises. I'm going to find a gap because this is, again, such a beautiful setting. Okay, I'm going to have to pull in here for you. What I'll do is I'll turn like this, and there's just no gaps. Sorry, you can look at it, it's a very obscured view. I'm just going to chat to Herbie quickly. Go Herbie. The Ingwe. I stopped and I picked up the, what I think is Mahlolo and Konzo. Herbie, they went into the Fullerman's Dip and then I couldn't see where they came out. Maybe they went into Ingwe Alley. Beautiful, isn't it? Right, let's carry on. Okay, so it seems as though Herbie wants to have a big conversation this morning, so I'm going to have to send you across to Tristan, who's also got a view of the sunrise.
We do. It is one of the most beautiful views. Buffelshoek Boundary has got to be one of the best places to sit and watch the sunrise, and isn't that cool? You can actually see the sort of edges and the haze of it as it rises up, and it is bright orange this morning, and even the sky itself is taken on these purple and red and orange tones. It is very cool. So Jeremiah, you say big ball of fire. It is indeed, and you can see how fast it rises. Look at how quickly it's going through the frame. You can see it's now edging towards the top of the frame. Earlier it was right on the bottom, so it's cool to see just how quickly it goes. We know yesterday or last night we watched it going the opposite way, and it was very cool to go through that. And Craig forgot to press record and see what timing it was, so we can't actually check if it was the 2 minutes 35 that I said or the 2 minutes 47 that Craig said for it to set. So very cool nonetheless though. Now just updates from Buffelshoek Boundary side. There was one Birmingham boy that has crossed into Simbambili, crossed out at the gate, so we found his tracks that were very fresh on top of all the vehicle tracks on Triple M. Now Triple M is the main road that cuts the sort of west and the eastern side of the reserve, or in the north here anyway, and I did hear a car going down the road, so it means that he crossed on top of that car, which means we missed him by seconds. The thing is that even if we had found him, we had no signal there. The gremlins were on board, and so it doesn't really matter too much that he crossed out without us being there, because we wouldn't have been able to view him anyway or show him to all of you, given that the gremlins were there. So that's at least one line that is accounted for, and I don't know if it's Tinyo or who it could be. Maybe it is Tinyo's tracks that he came up from where Taylor had him and out that way. We'll just have to see how it goes. Other than that, it was just the leopard tracks that I had yesterday, and it's been quiet ever since. We haven't seen too many signs of any animals. There was the odd impala around Sydney's Dam. What's this on our left-hand side and in the middle of the road? And in the middle of the road here, Seb? Looks like leopard tracks to me. Maybe these are tracks for Mvula from yesterday. Let's see. No. So these are tracks, but they're not from last night, because you can see the cars have driven over each side of them. So these are probably from yesterday morning, and I would imagine this is Mvula's tracks from when he went and into Buffalo's Hook. Yeah, so those are no good for us either. We need fresher ones than that to be able to follow. Although I see there's another set that is coming back this way. Whoever it was decided to move around a lot. I didn't drive up this side yesterday afternoon or morning, so I don't know if Taylor drove here. I know that he did cross behind us somewhere, so it must be his tracks that are just kind of going up and down there. Just careful there, Seb. So we're just going past those that must not be named. Good morning, good morning. Now we're coming up towards an area called Tambuti Dam. Now Tambuti Dam is a place where the Nkuhumas often like to go and like to cross back towards our side. So that's why I'm up here, is hoping that they came from where Manyeleti is. And Manyeleti, actually, from where we are, is not very far at all. It can just be a short straight line down south to where we are. And this is an area that the Nkuhumas love to spend a lot of time in, even on Djuma side and on the Buffalo's Hook side. And so it's a good place to check for them. And that's why I just want to go further. And Tambuti Dam is just in this little dip below in front of us. So the dam lies just off the northern side of the break, and you'll find that there's often lots of movement between the animals here. So we find a lot of elephants going up and down here, a lot of the lions move around, and then even leopards. So Mvula's been spending a lot of time at Tambuti Dam, and this is also where the dead hyena is. And yesterday it was stinking when I went past here in the afternoon, so hopefully it's not going to be too bad, because there's nothing like the smell of a dead animal first thing in the morning to kind of choke you up and get into your nasal passages and cause you to not feel very well. So hopefully that smell is almost gone and that animal has pretty much been devoured. Be interesting, because it seems like since Mvula's been there's been no other activity called on it. So there's been no other hyenas feeding off it, no vultures, and that's always sort of quite interesting to me, because vultures typically eat anything, and I've seen them on lion carcasses, but it seems that hyenas don't actually get fed on all that much. I was just checking here, because this is a point where they cross. There's like a little two-track that comes in, and then a junction of a road that goes to the dam itself, and it's always a good place to have a look for tracks. A lot of, like I say, movement goes between there and the actual dam itself. The other place that they like to cross is just here in front. Let's see. No tracks really. Just the odd hyena track here or there, but no lions, unfortunately. But the smell of the hyena is definitely here. You smell that, Seb?
Yes.
What's worse? Was it Tinyo worse last night or this?
Tinyo for sure.
Was Tinyo worse? So Tinyo's, there you go. It just gives you an idea of just how bad Tinyo smelt yesterday when he was passing his sort of gas out of his stomach. It's worse than a dead rotting hyena. That just goes to show and tell you something about male lion gut systems. Now I'm going to carry on and try and see. We'll check up towards Buffalo's Hook Dam in case they maybe came across that way, and while I do that, I believe Taylor is still out and about, and she's still on the search for lots of different things, because I've heard her and Herbie chatting away, and so hopefully she'll get lucky this morning. And let's go across to her and she can tell us what she thinks is worse, the smell of the rotting hyena or Tinyo's gas.
That's a tough one, Tristan. I don't know. That hyena's pretty rancid, so I think we're gonna have to go with the hyena. Tinyo was bad, but I could still take the smell. It smelled like off Brussels sprouts with this hint of death. That's what Tenyo smelled like yesterday. Anyways, we are searching for wild dogs and potentially a young male leopard as well. So we had wild dog tracks. Herbie did confirm, yes, you know, because sometimes it's so easy to misidentify tracks. I was then looking at all the hyena tracks going, maybe it is just a young one, and I've got too excited. But I think it's one of the packs of 3. There weren't very many tracks, but Herbie says there's definitely more than one. So we're just having a look here, but we haven't seen anything crossing over just yet. So Aubrey's also looking. He's one of the guides from Vuyatela. And then I am also checking, and so is Herbie. We're going to go all the way towards Twin Dams now. I just want to very quickly have a chat to Peter and just let him know as well about this. So please excuse me for a little bit. Hello, how are you? Hello everybody. So we'll chat quickly, we're live. Matlolwa and Konzo, we had, I think it's one of the packs of 3 coming sort of westish, okay, cool. But nothing crossing out yet. We checked Triple M into the signs, and then that's it for now. Okay. Just wanted to give you that update.
One Birmingham here, one Birmingham, Samambili.
Ah, okay. And then there's one in the north that we had tracks crossing over. Okay. So now we're just missing one more. Nice to see you. Cool. I'll chat to you soon. There we go. So that was just Peter from Nkoro, one of the guides, very wonderful gentleman, one of my good friends. So anyways, we're going to carry on searching now. I hear Tristan and Herbie on the radio. I wonder what they're doing. So it's quite interesting though. We've got obviously wild dog tracks and lots of hyena tracks. I suppose it's not uncommon to see hyenas tailing after wild dogs, because wild dogs are very successful when it comes to hunting. So they might try and, you know, pick up the scraps, and there seem to be quite a few of hyenas running together, not just one on its own. But we'll keep checking. Now I think they're still around. Hopefully Herbie will be able to pick up with them and we'll be able to get back in that direction. Just check here. No, that's a waterback track. Now Colleen, you say that you hope that we find the wild dogs because you've never seen wild dogs before. Well, we'll make a concerted effort then, Colleen, just for you. Just check here. I know the other guides have already driven past, but those animals cross so quickly that literally within that conversation that Peter and I had, they could have crossed behind his vehicle. So you've just got to make sure. Oh, I got a fright. I thought there was something. It's just a waterback crossing the road. I almost put my foot flat down on the accelerator. I don't think the waterback would have appreciated that very much. So Herbie seems to think we should go up towards Chelepan. He says maybe that leopard is around there somewhere, so we will be doing that. And I also can't figure out which way these dogs have gone, because they could have started going west. They could have very easily changed direction and then gone more south or more east, north. They could be up at Buffelshoek Dam. Who knows? Tristan might find them. That's the exciting thing about wild dogs, is that they're just going to pitch up anywhere. And well, they're not particularly big, quite easily to dart around, not necessarily staying on an animal pathway, but actually running through the long grass, trying to flush small prey out like duiker, like steenbok, even a guinea fowl or a scrub hare. They'll snatch those up as power meals too, and then off they'll go again. Now it's cold. It wasn't cold, but down on this drainage line it's freezing. Okay, let's check what we're gonna do here. Make sure that there's no leopards. So I don't know if you heard the update that Peter gave. He said that there's one Birmingham in Simbambili, one down this side somewhere, I've forgotten already. And then we know from Tristan that there's one up in Buffelshoek. So there's still another member that's missing, but I'm sure it's probably with the Torchwood Pride again. So maybe there's actually 2 Birmingham boys in Buffelshoek. Check that no one's come down for a spot of water. No, it doesn't look like it. There's no thirsty wild dogs drinking from there, or no thirsty leopards. If we don't come right at Chelepan, what we will do is we'll go back and check. I want to check Twin Dams as well. So I'm in 2 minds as to what to do now, because I'd really like to find wild dogs, but then I also really want to find a leopard. And wild dogs though, often you come up empty-handed. Leopards, I feel like sometimes we have a better chance because they don't move as quickly. And those tracks, those leopard tracks we had were very, very, very fresh too. I think they were only I'd say an hour ago or so, not very old. There was very little disturbance on the tracks. And the same actually went for the wild dog tracks too. They were, like I said, they were much fresher than the hyena footprints we were looking at. It's just amazing. I didn't hear anything alarming. Well, except those birds. Sammy, Jade, you said that everyone's got their fingers crossed. Good. Sit with them like that until we find something. Hopefully that will bring us some luck. We'll check here. This is another good area to check. Keep my fingers from falling off. I should probably put gloves on, but I don't have time. We're searching for wild dogs. There's absolutely no time to put gloves on, right? No, those are just antelope tracks. Let's actually maybe just stop and just quickly listen. See if we can hear any alarm calls. No. Can't hear any alarm calls in particular. No leopard or dog tracks coming here just yet. Let's just check down on the Mulwati. That's always a good spot. More antelope. We're not going to stop to look at the antelope tracks. We'll look at some a little bit later. Is it running? Let's just stop behind that little shrub. Don't worry, I'm not a wild dog. Standing very, very still. Looking right, then looking back towards me. Yes, Steenbok, I'm the least of your worries at the moment. Oh, it's coming right out again. Well, that's kind of it. It's obviously not too bothered. Calm enough to put its head down and continue feeding on the little shrubs. But very attentive. Even the Steenbok looks fluffy today. Just shows you how cold it is on this drainage line. Right, but let's keep going. I love Steenbok, but I want to find something that would like to eat you. Right. Well, it seems as though cats and dogs are on the brains of Tristan and I today. You've already had your fix with James. Hopefully you'll find some in the sands. Let's go see how far Tristan is on his mission towards Buffelshoek.
Well, we're still on Buffelshoek boundary and we found many a track, but none of them are from last night. They're all from the last few sort of weeks, and there's varying degrees of age, but lots of movement. It's amazing actually just how many times the lions have come back and forth over this boundary. We found tracks for males, for the Nkahuma pride, and it really is sort of a busy place for them. So now I'm just driving along trying to check for any fresh tracks that could potentially be here over the top of any of the vehicle tracks, but there really hasn't been anything so. So we're just going to go all the way through to Cheetah Cut Line before we'll loop back towards Buffelshoek Dam and see if there isn't any crossing over. Yeah, in front, so maybe they would have turned and came straight sort of south from there, which means Buffelshoek Dam would be a good place to check. So I'm going to have a look around here, and hopefully it's not going to be a frustrating day like yesterday where it was just tracking everything away from us and off, and hopefully we'll get something that we can basically follow and find. That would be quite nice. And also, while I'm driving up here, just looking for any signs of fresh elephant tracks, because they've also been a little bit scarce of late. I actually haven't seen any signs of a herd since I've been back, so this week has been no sign of a herd anywhere. And I know Taylor had one the first afternoon I was back, but let's see if we can't find something this morning as well. Seems as though it's going to be a windy day though. The wind has definitely picked up while we've been driving. Kind of feel this breeze gusting, particularly when we get up on these ridges, and when you go down then it sort of dies down a bit. As you get up you start to feel it again. But still no sign, and I'm checking very carefully on all of these areas, because the other interesting thing that's kind of been playing out is the Nkahuma pride seems to be just crossing at random places. They don't actually use a road and come over on a road. Often you'll find when tracking is the best place to follow is just to try and find when road intersects with the boundary, because they follow those and over. But the places where we've seen the tracks for the Nkahumas going back and forth has all been away from roads and just on game paths. So every time we see a game path, just kind of checking along there as well, making sure that they haven't popped out somewhere in that area. But no sign that I can see. It's going to be an interesting one to see where those wild dogs have ended up, because I think that's going to be a tough one to find, particularly because you've got a situation where if it's only one or two or three, it's probably the breakaway ones, those three, they are going to move so quickly that it's very difficult to actually find them. And we know that pack of three moves very quickly and moves very far, and it's a tough one to actually find. So hopefully, for Taylor's sake, she will find them. Wouldn't it be nice if she finds them with this leopard that she's looking for all together? The leopard can be in the tree, the dog's below. That would be a perfect situation, don't you think, Seb?
Yeah.
I think so.
Good start of the day.
Would be a good start of the day. No sign there. So Michael, you're wondering if bringing down the fences between Kruger and the private reserves has affected the wild dog population. Michael, to be honest, not sure. I don't think so. The reason why I say I don't think so is because wild dogs are notorious fence crossers anyway. There's very few fences that actually keep wild dogs in. They generally just dig themselves out and underneath and go into the neighboring area. So even before these were open to the Kruger, I think places like the Sabi sands, the dogs would have kind of moved in between. So that's not really affected the population more than what sort of the expansion of human population has affected them. So us growing and taking more and more space, and where we go we tend to bring other animals, and that causes disease to come out, and so then we have a situation, elephant tracks. That's good news, and by the looks of it going south towards our side. So we'll definitely go follow those now and see if we can't find them. That's good news. But so people bring dogs, and that causes rabies and distemper and all of those kind of things to be brought about, and that's what's really affected the dogs population. That, coupled with the fact that dogs have a high mortality rate when it comes to other predators. So lions, leopard, hyenas cause a lot of damage to the wild dog population, and it means that we have a situation where their numbers decline sort of naturally at 50%, almost will be natural deaths within the first year. So it's a very big decline, and I can actually see where these wild dogs came from. They came from here and ran straight south, and there must be the same tracks that Taylor and them have picked up earlier. But also the other sort of part of why dogs are getting rarer is that there's been a spike in the lion population within the Kruger in the recent years, and so the lion population grows. Elephant. Look at that. That's cool. There we go, Seb. Knew it was here somewhere. Is it she or a he? No, it's a he by the looks of it. Should pop out just in front of us when I stop over here. There we go. It should come out into the beautiful morning light shortly. So I was just saying the increase in lion population has meant that, the dogs have suffered a lot from sort of inter-predator situations, and I know that there's been a pack that was denning on Thorny Bush. Their puppies were attacked by lions this week as well, and I don't know how many were killed, but quite a large number of the puppies were killed. So it is a big problem. But look at that light, those oranges and the greens on the round leaf teak, and young bull Ellie just walking along. Good morning. Now there are tracks for more elephants in front of me here. Unfortunately, it looks as though they're all going straight down towards Torchwood side, and they're going to cross over into Torchwood. But we'll have a look. Maybe this young bull is just trailing the herd, and the herd will be up in front somewhere. But how are those autumn colors or winter colors? Oranges, greens, golden light, and an Ellie bull strolling through them. It's about as good as it gets, I would say. Are you going to come out onto the road in front of us? Yes, you are. Now watch the trunk. You might find that this ellie sort of uses its trunk just to sniff us, see what's going on. It's also putting the trunk down on the ground because that's where the other elephants were walking, so it might be trying to just scent where this herd is gone. Still, that trunk is right down on the ground, and you can see it's moving quickly. It's not feeding on anything, so it's probably trying to catch up with the herd that it's been following. See, look how it's putting its trunk in the grass, smelling all the time. Where's everybody gone? Now, there's also a school of thought that they have sensory cells within the tip of their trunk that picks up the vibrations that the elephants cause by producing this low frequency sound, and so often down on the ground can pick up those vibrations and then be able to find said herd of elephants. But I don't think we're going to have much more of a view of that elephant. It's starting to move into Torchwood and away from where we are, so we'll try just go forward and see if there aren't any more close by. But this is a main track that I've got on the right hand side of the road. In fact, there's a couple males that are around and drifting around here, and even some little ones too. So we've got a whole herd that was in this area, but it looks like they might have crossed exactly where that bull's crossed. We'll check because there's still tracks going southwards, but I'm not sure we're going to find these elephants. Hopefully the herd is still here. I'm just going to try to see if I can get ahead of this male. He's still walking parallel with us. I thought he might disappear, but he's walking perfectly parallel with us at the moment. I love when they walk through this round leaf teak sort of low forest. It's got beautiful colours, and the ellies sort of tower over the brush. And it always looks very sort of quintessential Kruger Park image, especially if you go up into the northern parts of Kruger. It doesn't have the round leaf teak, but it's got a lot of stunted mopani, and the stunted mopani gets very similar colours to what you see on the round leaf teak in terms of the oranges and the reds and the greens. And the ellies there also walk through it, and you get massive big bull elephants up there, and they tower over that stunted mopani, and it's a very similar image to what you're seeing now, where the elephant just kind of walks through over the top of the vegetation. There's obviously here a few bigger bush willows in the way, but isn't that nice? And there we go. I think that's him disappearing from us. But we're going to keep following these tracks of the rest of the herd because they look like they're quite fresh. There's on top of most things that I can see. So I'm going to try and see if I can't find this herd. And while I do that, I believe Miss McCurdy is on the trail of the wild dogs, and hopefully they'll be quite fresh because I saw the wild dog tracks back there on top of these elephant tracks. So hopefully the ones that she's got are where the dogs are.
Well, we can only hope. Unfortunately, I think we're going to stop searching for these dogs. I have a suspicion that they have just run south because the tracks were going along Shabamu Road, and that's not a very long road before it gets to Gowrie Main. I didn't see anything, so they could have crossed over our tracks even once we'd driven that road, because Aubrey's saying he's got them again, just the tracks. So I think we're going to just throw in the white towel over there and call it quits for the dogs. They move too quickly, and we haven't heard any alarm calls. Haven't seen any flashes of white on the tail, which is sad. However, and okay, I'm going to answer that now, Megan, because I'm going to pass that straight on to Tristan. Anyways, what I was going to say, I actually can't remember what I was going to say, so we'll just answer Olivia's question. And Olivia, who is quite young, she was wondering, what do wild dogs sound like? Now, Tristan told me that after he spent some time in Kruger darting wild dogs, he couldn't get their call out of his head, and he's been practicing it. He even demonstrated, and I thought it was a wild dog. So, Olivia, when you see Tristan again, we'll have to ask him to do the call for you, and he can tell you or demonstrate exactly what they sound like. Yeah, some impala, they look fairly relaxed. Not that that's an indication that there's no predators around. I always say this. They actually look very pretty in that light. Isn't that lovely? All fluffed up. Something's caught their attention though. See how they're all looking to the south? No. There's some, I think it's because there's some birds that are alarming quite far. Oh my goodness. Vegas Beauty Snob, you've just issued me with a challenge that is so difficult. And the challenge is, you want me to try and find animals in alphabetical order. Well, impalas does not start with an A. We're going to have to start with an aardvark. What? Can we show other animals? Or do I have to wait until I find an animal with an A and then we can keep going? No, and Megan says impala is an antelope. No, I don't think she means like that, Megan. Right, we'll see what else we can find. What else starts with an A? If there was ant-eating chats, we could have done those birds. What about... No, of course. Do you think an ant? Yes, we could find an ant. Maybe actually it's not going to be as easy as we think because it's quite chilly. They might not be active just yet. I'll keep an eye out for some ants. What else? Ants, aardvarks. Craig, feel free to chime in at any time. I can't even think of anything else that starts with an A, but you can hashtag Safari Live. You can help me with my list of animals that I can find in the Sabi Sands that start with the various letters of the alphabet. Typically the one starting from the beginning. I can start with a B for brown snake eagle. Is it a brown snake eagle? Or is it a juvenile battalier? Well, either way. Battalier. Oh, there it goes. There it flies. I think it was a brown snake eagle because I saw that it had a tail. So now we just need to find A because they're not winning. Okay. Let's keep going. Not going to make that turn. Antelope for A. I don't agree with that though. I'm going to completely disagree with everybody because that's then all the species. So I could show you Steenbok. No, that's too easy then. Then I can't use I don't know how it works, but I'm not going to use A for antelope. We'll find an ant. Craig, let's see if there's an ant on the silver cluster leaf. I think it's too early for the insects though. It's still quite chilly. But sometimes you might, if you look very closely on the bark of trees, you might be able to find something moving around. Where's the polyrhynchus ants when we need them? They were all about at one point, not even one stuck in the spider web. Right, how disappointing. Let's keep searching for something with an A. Ah, there we go. Chris Rogue, you've said arrow-marked babblers. Yes, you see, that's why I need your help. Let's find some arrow-marked babblers. We might actually be able to find them too. That'd be a good one. But watch. I won't see one arrow-marked babbler or even hear one the entire day because that's just how it goes out in the bush. Whee! Hold on, Craig. Where are the ants? I cannot believe that there are no ants just yet. Anyways, I'm going to keep searching for all sorts of, well, things that start with A's. So I'm going to send you back across to Tristan, who's managed to find some more elephants.
Well, wouldn't it be fantastic if Taylor could find an aardvark to start off her alphabetical list? That would be quite good. We've jumped a few letters and we've gotten to E because we've managed to track down some of the elephants from this herd. I think this was again another male that's off the back. There were lots of tracks coming this way and you could actually smell them before we saw them, and so I think the rest of the herd is somewhere in front. I heard some branches breaking in front of us and I'd imagine that this young male will eventually catch up with the rest of them. But it's so nice to see some Ellies back in the area, and like I say, I'm hoping that there are some little babies and we'll be able to spend some time with a nice big herd during this morning's drive. In fact, actually, I know that's not a big herd because there's not very many tracks. There's probably at most, I would say, 5 or 6 elephants that I could see, but there is a young track in there as well. Now, I've also just found tracks for a female leopard that crossed into Torchwood, so I'd imagine that might be for Tundi, although they look quite small even for Tundi. Tundi does have small feet, but he's looked very, very little. Anyway, we'll have to try and see if the guys in Torchwood can't find that particular leopard and let us know who it is. Isn't that beautiful with the sun rising behind, elephants peacefully feeding? It's very pleasant indeed, and you'll find that this Ellie is spending a lot of time in the thickets where we are because this will be blocking the breeze that is blowing. Where we were just now with that other elephant bull was a lot more exposed and a lot more open than what we see here, and here it's a little bit more protected, and you'll find the Ellies are going to spend a lot of time, particularly if this wind gets up any more than it is already. They'll try and find some nice sheltered areas in which to spend their day. But watch how he twists this branch. You can actually see the teeth mark already on the barky area, and you can see how it's stripping it of the bark. So it's trying to get that cambium layer. It's not interested in the actual woody part of that branch that it has. It just wants the cambium layer that is covering that branch, and so it rotates it through its mouth using its tongue. There we go. See, then it will just drop it out and take the actual bark. Very clever. I always love watching the elephants when they feed at this time of the year, because they have to become a little bit more sort of clever about the way that they do things. So rather than just feeding off big swathes of grass, they have to shake the soil off the grass. They have to use their tongue to roll branches. So Donna, you're wondering if elephants have a distinct smell. Well, their dung does. So their dung has got quite a strange smell. It smells pretty much like processed grass, really, like any other herbivore, but it has a slightly different sort of scent to it, and I don't know how to describe it, but you can often smell their dung. And then when they break branches, the breaking of branches and picking up of grass, you often have that disturbed soil smell. So I don't know if you've ever dug up soil, it has that slight smell to it. And so when elephants have been there recently, you can pick up not only that smell of their dung, but also the smell of this sort of grass that's been broken out of the ground, and that soil smell, as well as it's almost got that sort of stable smell of the grass that they have disturbed. So that's the kind of scent that you get when you're trying to follow elephants. Now, we were talking about smells and things. Wild dogs actually have probably the most distinct smell of all of our animals out here. You can often smell wild dogs long before you even see them. They have this very pungent smell. And just now Taylor was talking about the sound that they make, and they make what is called a who sound. So that is when they are trying to contact one another, and the who sound is a monotonous sound. It just basically is them kind of squeaking. Everyone always thinks that they bark, or they would make a barking sound, but I'll play it for you and you tell me if this sounds like a dog. So that is the sound that the dogs will make when they're trying to find one another. And so if you can hear that, then you know the dogs are quite close by. Now that's the sound if they're trying to contact one another. If they're excitable and they've found something, then this is the noise that they will make. So that's the noise if they find one another and they're excited, or if they're on a carcass and they're feeding, or if they're with the puppies. That's what you'll hear. So that's the excited chatter, and then the who call is when they're just wanting to talk to one another. So those are the two sort of types of communication that wild dogs have. So Taylor says I must stop cheating and do the call that I did for her the other day. No, Taylor, I haven't practiced enough. I need to keep practicing. But it it basically is exactly what I've just played now. It's basically how it is. And I was doing it just now, and Sep was like, what is that? And it was me just kind of whistling. So it basically goes... No, that wasn't a good one. I'll get it right. Let me just practice a little bit just now, and when we come back to me, I'll do it. Just hold on. I'll have to try and practice off air, and then I'll do it. Have you just noticed that we're here, big boy? I wonder why he's all of a sudden, maybe the noise of the dogs that we've been playing, he's just realized that there might be something. If there's...
Doing what he was doing when you were playing the call.
Yeah, as soon as we played the call, he stopped doing it. And we know that there has been tracks for dogs here, so maybe that combined with the sound we've just played has just sort of given him a little bit of a reason to move on. It's interesting because elephants absolutely are petrified of wild dogs. They hate wild dogs. It's always kind of this big interaction between them as they go. Now our Ellie's going into a thicket, and I want to just check further up ahead if I can't find the rest of them and see if there isn't the herd up ahead. And while we do that, it sounds like Taylor might have found something with an A, and if it's an aardvark, then I don't think Taylor and I will be talking later today.
Not an aardvark, sadly. We've got the African sun to start off with, because I'd given up on now trying to find ants. And then we've got something with a B too. Should we show them, Craig? Have a look at exhibit B, a Belinaites tree. And then I've got something with a C, the next little shrub over there, a cluster leaf, silver cluster leaf, but it's still a cluster leaf. And then, can you believe it, Craigie, there is something with a D down there. You see that big termite mound? Just down on the floor on the road. You should be able to see it moving. There is a dove. You're spot on the money there, Craig. Well done. So we got A, B, C, D. Now, I am warning you, I'm totally going to sing the alphabet to try and remember what letter comes next. So, A, B, C, D, E. What are we looking for? E with an elephant. We might have to swing past Tristan's sighting to have a look at the elephants. Or what else starts with an E? I like this challenge. Thank you. This is really quite cool. I think we need to do it every day. Yeah, we can do an eagle. Let's see if we can find that brown snake eagle again. Eagle, elephant, Eremomola. What about an Eremomola? That's a bird. Craig, an eel. We won't be finding any eels out over here though. Can't even think of a tree now that starts with an E. Quarry tree, the Euclea family of trees, or genus of trees. Done. Where's that quarry tree? There's so many of them. We're gonna go right through. Move out the way, doves and hornbills. We can't do you just yet. We'll get there just now. The magpie shrikes, right? We know where to come to look for them. Now watch, we won't find one quarry tree here, or the Euclea family of trees. I don't know if it counts, but I feel like it's at least it's specific. Like I said, I wasn't too keen on the A for antelope, because then I'm gonna use all my possibilities when I need the S for steenbok, or when I need, oh, we didn't even do D for duiker. Tristan has now called me, can you believe this? Tristan has called me a cheater. I'm offended. I'm not a cheater, Tristan. He says that I cheated by using African sun, and he says I also cheated because I used silver cluster leaf. But it's a cluster leaf. The type of tree is a cluster leaf, and then the specific species, it's the silver cluster leaf. I think I'm right, because I could have done this too. Fine, Tristan, fine. Look what I'm about to pull out of my pocket right now. Look at that. How great is that? Oh, it's going to blow away. Look at the coloration on it. It's purple. That is from a purple pod cluster leaf. So I think I win now that I've shown two different types of cluster leaves that start with C's, obviously. It wins. And I know, I don't think it should just be animals. I think it should be all about nature. So the sun is part of nature. The trees are part of nature. So I'm going to change it slightly. I'm just going to do things that we find in the bush for the alphabet. Now we're looking for something with an E. Now we've still got to look. Oh, we're looking for the quarry tree, yes. And then for F we can do Franklin. Can you believe it? There's not one quarry tree. Actually, we're going to have to drive all the way to Impala Plains. Actually, stay with me. We're not far. I'll pick up the pace, because we're actually not far from Impala Plains at all. I'm also looking for leopards and things like that, but if I find a leopard, I'll have to come back to it until we get to L. That's right. Hey Megan. Hunter, you've said an eland for E. That's great. Thanks, Hunter. I haven't actually ever seen an eland in the Sabi sand before. I've seen them in Kruger before. But it would be nice to see. You want to be very happy. They're beautiful animals. Oh, no, seriously. Where are all the quarry trees today? There's one. Is that one? It's so far, though, Craig. You're actually not even going to be able to see it. Hang on, we'll get a closer one. Almost there, I promise. What other Latin name starts with an E? Now I can't think of off the top of my head. Bretum, no, let's see. I could have done the combretums for the bush willows. Our opportunities are endless. Okay, we're getting to... Ooh, Orchard, you said an earthworm. I haven't seen an earthworm. I don't think I've actually seen an earthworm while being here at Wild Earth. That'll be a good one. Okay, here we go. Ta-da! E for the Euclea So that's the genus of the guarri trees. You get many different types of them. This one is natalensis, actually. So the Natal guarri tree. So we've done E. Now we need to start looking for things that start with an F. Franklins. What up? Ah, so Tristan is thinking the same way that I am. He also thought that he was going to suggest to me that I should go for a guarri tree. Too late, Tristan. It's already done. Now watch, we won't see one Franklin this morning. What else starts with an F, Craig? Fish eagle, but we'd have to go to Chitwa Dam, and that's too far away for being so close in the alphabet, beginning a bit of the alphabet. Right, so we've already got Franklin. These footprints are these. I'm just trying to think now. Timbuerchi trees, that's a good one for T. Drongo, we could have done lots of birds. We've done that. Come on, crested Franklins or Koki Franklin, Shelley's Franklin. The Franklin list is endless as well. Can we do F for fallen leaves? No, we can't. That's oh, sorry, Craig. That's only when I get really desperate. I don't know what else we're gonna do. What's it? Ah, okay. I'm gonna change my African sun because Tristan was complaining that I was cheating. There's an African hoopoo. Be on standby, Craig. It's just landed off to the left. We've got to get it quickly. We'll replace the African sun with an African hoopoo. Can you please ask Tristan if that satisfies his needs? It's just on that animal pathway. And it's quite beautiful as well. Out in the open, there it goes. So African hoopoo, that's actually one that I really wanted to start the whole drive off with. Can we do fork-tailed drongo for F? Of course we can, and I can hear one calling right now. Where are you? There should be plenty around here. I can hear its mechanical call. Are there those flycatchers? Or we can do flycatcher. There's two of them. Okay, Craig, I'm going to find a gap for you now. No, those are helmet tracks. Hang on, sorry, I just got to get the next gap. Sorry, Craig. If you look straight through those bushes, can you see the one of the fork-tailed drongos? Where those birds were flying? Quite low down on that tree. There we go, go straight in the middle. There we go, fork-tailed drongo. For you. And a woodpecker. But that woodpecker is unfortunately too far down on the list. That's quite cool. Looks like a Bennett's too. Oh, I think it looked like it had that stripe on it. Okay, what are we on next? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Things that start with a G. Now we've got to go through this list. Right. Well, I'm going to see if I can find something with a G. Hopefully we will. Tristan seems to have moved on from the grey giant. Let's go see where he's heading next.
Well, I'm still trying to find the rest of this herd, so I'm just looking for their tracks, and they don't seem to have come out, so I'm doing a big loop round, and I'll try and head back towards where I had them just now. Oh, are these leopard tracks? They are. More leopard tracks. This is leopard tracks everywhere, but this is not going to be a nice place to track. As you can see, it's very gravelly here, and we need to be very difficult. So I just want to get a little bit further forward where it's a bit more sandy, that I can actually see what's going on, because you won't see too much on this. Prey in front, so it all seems to be happening at once, and I'm quite interested to see how Taylor's going to go when she starts to get to J, because we were just sitting now and thinking about the things that you could use for J, and there'd be Jacobin cuckoo, which are not around. So her next will be a Jamison's firefinch, but to get that on camera is going to be very difficult. So I don't know what else we could use for J. What do you think, Sabi? Is there anything else? Jackalberry, yeah, that's an easy one. Ah, there's two birds of prey here. Nice. So we've got one on our right hand side. So there goes our white-backed vulture. Now, NDF, you say I should start with Z, and I should work my way backwards until we sort of get to a point. Oh, what's it chasing there? What's that battalier? Is that battalier got something in its mouth? So that's a young battalier that's flying away. No, it doesn't. I thought it might have had something in its mouth. But there we go. The vulture just chased the battalier. The vulture said, no, that's my perch. I want the dead tree. And so there's our white-backed vulture sitting in the tree. All right, so now I've got to start with Z, and I've got to work my way backwards. Sure, okay, but now I've got vultures already. This is going to be tough. I'll try and see. Let's see if we can. But Z, okay, there's a few that we can use. Let's try. Let's see what we can find here, Seb. There's quite a few. There's zebra wood. There's zebra. So we'll try and see if we can't find something with a Z quickly. Zoria is a French zorif, a French word for honey badger. Sure, if we see a honey badger, I'll be pretty happy about that. See if our vulture will stay still. We'll start the game after the vulture because we didn't. Oh no, the vulture's now flown. Because we didn't really know prior to the vulture. So let's start from now. I'm just trying to think of scientific names of trees with a Z. I don't know. This might be a little tougher than I thought. Seems like we've got the harder part, but we'll try. We'll definitely try. I'm just trying to think down the alphabet as well.
Also, yes.
Taylor's also saying that it's good luck to try and actually work out the alphabet backwards. Well, Taylor, we're quite sharp minds here. I've got Seb in the back, who's very smart, and, well, I'm not as smart, but I'll try my very best. Right, Seb, we can't lose to Taylor. I can't put things on my head again this afternoon. I don't want to be that person, so let's try and see if we can't find what's going on. Now, of course, I've forgotten about the leopard tracks that I saw earlier as well. Those are all hyenas. Come on, leopard, where are you? Wild dog tracks. So those are not what we're looking for. And I'm sure these wild dog tracks are the same ones that Taylor and them found earlier. They come all the way along, straight along Central, which is, sorry, not Central, along Battalier, which is pretty typical for these dogs. They often run this route. So I'm not surprised that their tracks are here. And that's maybe why we saw the vulture and the battalier back there. Maybe the dogs killed something small here, and the two of them are there. You'll often find vultures and battalier eagles following wild dogs, in particular hooded vultures. Funny enough, hooded vultures are often seen just sort of tailing wild dogs and getting close to where they are, and then they'll kind of land and hope that the dogs make a kill, and they can then feed off the scraps. So you'll often see that, and now with the wild dogs makes perfect sense that there was a battalier and a white-backed vulture in that area. Now I'm trying to find a zebra wood. We're not in the right place for the zebra woods. The zebra woods are mostly on Triple M North, so I get that side, or a zebra itself.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I can use it now. G for gremlins. Woohoo! Have you ever seen anybody so excited for a crash cut in your entire life? Well, I am, because I think G for gremlins count, because those are real creatures out here. Now we're on F. I might replace it with geese though when we get to Vuyatela Dam. So in case you are not agreeing with me, we'll try. I'm really enjoying this challenge. It's sort of speed sightings today. We of course are still looking for things like leopards and lions and anything else that would like to hang around, so don't worry, we're not just going to race about the property trying to complete the entire alphabet. So now we're on F. Now we need a Franklin. Pardon? Oh, we're on H. We've already done F. I keep forgetting that we've already done fork-tailed drum. We're on H. Heron. Harrier hawk. What else? What else is with an H? I can't remember. Oh, that's a good one. H for Hosanna, says Aaron. That'd be great. That'd be quite wonderful if we can do that. Hornbill. That should be an easy one. Let's check here for a hornbill. Maybe we'll get lucky. No, you won't actually believe how you have to test your brain power to try and figure out what animals Hyena? Let's go to the hyena den. Yes, that sounds like a great idea. I'm in. I'm going to the hyena den now. Even if we get a hornbill, we'll still go there. So let's go. We're not too far from Gallic. We're on Vuyatela access. Probably, I actually don't know how far we are. Might take us 5 or so minutes. Now, Tristan apparently has got something with a Z. Is it a zebra? Is it a ziziphus? I'm not sure, but he'll tell you now.
Well, it's not a zebra, it's a plant. I'm following Taylor's suit, and this is a Ziziphus macronata, or a buffalo thorn. So the scientific name starts with a Z in Ziziphus. So if Taylor can use Balanites for a torchwood, we can use Ziziphus for our Z. And it's a beautiful actual plant. It's a bugger if you're trying to kind of use or move around through these thickets. They grab onto you and they hook into you, and that's why their Afrikaans name is called Wachelbikkie, which means wait a bit. And so when you walk past this, it always grabs you. It's got a little hooked thorn. That's where it's gotten its name buffalo thorn from, is that hooked thorn that it does have. So they have one straight thorn that will sort of stick into you, and one little hooked thorn that kind of grabs you. So not a nice plant to deal with at all, particularly if you're having to do bush clearing on the sides of the roads, and they grow on the sides of the roads quite often, and so you'll end up with a situation where you get spiked by these fairly regularly. So it's not a plant that you love, but they are very good in terms of a lot of other things. You can eat, they taste a very sort of leafy to me, but apparently when they cook down they're a lot better. But you can eat them just fresh like that.
My goodness, the gremlins just can't get enough of Tristan this morning. Perhaps it is the change of Tristan's cologne. Not that I really know if he has changed his cologne or not. I'm just trying to think of possibilities. We're not almost at the hyena den, but we're closer than what we were just a moment ago. So if you stick with me, we'll be able to head in. So I've started thinking, because I'm being very positive now, we're going to see hyenas, and then we not need to start trying to find things with an eye. So I said, what did I say? Impala, that could be an easy one. We'll maybe be able to find them. Maybe an indigo bird if one decides to pop around. Craig, can you think of any other birds that start with I? What about inkberry? Do we get inkberry bush? No. Well, see, it's hard to tell the difference between the plants now. A lot of those small shrubs don't have any leaves on anymore, and they just blend into the vegetation. Ibis? Sure, Craig is on form today. Go Batman. So we can do... I could have done C for Craig. Oh no, but what did we have for C again? Can't remember. Memory of a goldfish. I just try to think of other possibilities, because try and in one sighting get a whole lot of them. We can maybe beat Tristan. I know he's going the other way around. Here we're almost at the entrance to the hyena den. Right, we'll probably just have to go with Impala then. Where's this hyena den? Feels like it's moving further and further away. Perhaps it's a migrating hyena den. Oh, here we go. Right. Over we go. Who are we going to see today? Please, hyenas. We are depending on you. Oops. Over the bumps. And I was listening on the radio. I think Herbie said that there were some leopard tracks that have actually crossed south. And that young male leopard that we were tracking, if I wasn't mistaken, but I did have my radio turned down quite low, so I couldn't hear very well. I don't see any perky ears just yet. Where are you, Fluffy? Oh no. I don't think we're going to be in luck today. They were definitely out though, because there's lots of tracks. I don't see any adults. Can't hear anything either. Oh, there. What am I? No, Craig, I got such a fright. I don't know why I looked at the monitor and I thought I saw a hyena on the monitor, but there was no hyena. That is my imagination, because I'm so excited about seeing one. Perhaps we're a little bit too early. Maybe they haven't quite come in. They might still be sleeping off breakfast. Okay, well, let's keep going then. Now we need to try and get out of here. Back we go. No H for hyena. We can do hardy-da. Perhaps we are going to have to go towards Vuyatela Dam now. H for hardy-da. Oh, sorry, Craig. Sorry, branches. Right. Well, it's proving to be quite difficult to maneuver through here. So I'm going to send you across to Tristan, who has now found himself a reptile.
I have indeed, and so it's not part of our alphabet just yet, but we didn't want to just go past it and not show you also. We have a beautiful monitor lizard that is sitting, and I suppose we could count this as our W, so we'll just skip Y for now until we find a hornbill. Of course, when you're looking for hornbills, they're nowhere to be seen. They're everywhere otherwise, but now that we're looking for a yellow-billed hornbill, there's none of them around. So we're going to go to W for our water monitor lizard, and this guy's just sitting at Twin Dams and having a bit of a sunbathe on the dam wall, and you can hear it's much to the displeasure of a lot of the lapwings that are all squeaking all over the place. And the reason why is because monitor lizards are predators of their eggs, and so we'll find a situation where when the monitor lizards are out like this, that the lapwings go crazy. So they're all in the background there making quite a bit of noise as well. There we go. There's our beautiful blacksmith lapwing. We'll have to try and find them a little bit later if we catch up with Taylor and use them for that. But otherwise it's fairly quiet down here at Twin Dams. I was hoping that maybe, just maybe, we'd get lucky with a leopard down this area. Herbie had tracks for a young male leopard, which would possibly be Hosanna crossing into Little Gowrie, and I thought maybe he might just come back this way, so that's why I came to check here, just in case Hosanna is maybe hanging around this area. Now, Ashes1, you wondering if there's any hippos here? Nope, not that I can see. There seems to be no disturbance on the water. I haven't seen any sign of a hippo. We'll have to go and check maybe at Treehouse Dam for a hippo and see if we can't get an H before Taylor there. But we've got a long way to go before we can get to H, so we'll leave that for later in the drive. I was hoping that there would have been a yellow-billed hornbill somewhere here, and then we can go. It's going to be interesting once we start getting to X as well. Roshni, you say the colors of the monitor lizard remind you of dragons. They do, don't they? They've got a very beautiful colors, those bright sort of yellows, and that's what separates them from the rock monitor, which is the other type of monitor lizard that we get in this area. The rock monitors have actually, sorry, I've found a Y for us shortly, which I'll try and show you. The rock monitors have a lot more coloration than what you see on, the water monitors have a lot more coloration than the rock monitor. It's also got a much more pointed snout. Those rock monitors have much more rounded snouts than what you see on this particular individual. Now, where has my Y gone? Because there was a Y flittering about here, and it was a yellow-fronted canary. And now I don't know where it's gone. Oh no, I've lost it. We'll have to try and see if I can't find a yellow-billed hornbill instead. I think that's going to be a much easier bet than trying to find canaries and putting them on camera. Taylor's still on the search for H, and I wonder if she's gotten to the hyena den yet, and whether or not, hopefully, it will be.
I think we will, Tristan. I think we will. The hyenas, well, disappointed us this morning, but we'll go back a little bit later. They might be able to redeem themselves. We'll replace them for now. Let's see if we can maybe find a hornbill. It'd be quite nice. Or a hardy-da. Maybe there's some hardy-das probing around in the water at Vuyatela Dam. What else could we potentially see with an H? Craig, anything else to contribute this morning? No. He's thinking. Craig's going to think for us. He's going to figure out something else. Let's get to Vuyatela Dam and see what we can find, because at the moment the hornbills also seem to be MIA. We normally there's hornbills everywhere. We did see one hornbill already this morning, but it doesn't count because we've only just started the challenge. Mongoose, so we're not on M yet, but there are some dwarf mongoose here. Let's see, they're running to camp. They're going to raid the kitchen. Look at them. So I'm going to stop here because we've got the Djuma research sign over there, just to show you that's the entrance into our camp. And then we've got, there they go, look at them, making a dash across the road. There's another one coming out, and off it goes. There's a whole lot of them. And a squirrel. Oh no, you're also a dwarf mongoose. You just had a strange colour. They're just off the side of the road. I don't know if you can... There we go. Now you can see them. Whew, running out of frame. They're still there. Come on, Craigie. This is practice. This is what we call speed panning. It's a very important training procedure that camera operators have to go through. It's not. I'm just talking absolute nonsense. That one hasn't decided if it's going to go, but I think it is. Now they've obviously all warmed themselves up quite nicely. They've come out of their mounds. They're getting ready to start the day, to start foraging, and it seems as though they're going towards camp now. Perhaps they'll find some delicious insects to feed on when they get there. Oh, there's a whole lot of them. Hang on, let me go to this other mound. There's so many. So this is the termite mound. And every single night I drive past this termite mound, I think it's a rhino. I do it all the time. I give myself such a fright. But they're all just sitting here. Let's just wait patiently just for a moment and they should come out. Morning. Well, in the car they shouldn't be too bothered by us. However, if I were to get out and sit next to that mound, it might take a little bit longer. We can always come back later and try it. There's actually one with its head out just on the left. You see it's poking its head out. There it is. Hello, little dwarf mongoose. Yes, you can come out. You don't have to worry about us. There's two now. Now we just need a third one to pop underneath. That would be a beautiful shot then. Slightly nervous of us though. Constantly going in and out. Now they'll have to be quite careful today because of all the wind. Mischief, you said that they are such cool critters. They are indeed. I enjoy mongoose. There's a group of them that come through camp every now and then. And you'll just, if you're sitting in your room, you'll hear rustling outside and you think, oh, maybe it's the hornbills or the babblers or something. And then you're surprised when you go outside and you hear the squeakiness of all the little mongoose talking, chatting about, collecting all the insects. Right, they're not coming out now, so we'll carry on. Go to Vuyatela Dam. What bird is that? Buntings. Buffalo weavers. No, we can't use any of those. Mac, you say H for Herbie. If I could see him, I'd totally count him as one, because then I could do Impala, which are on my left. But I can't. We can't get you guys just yet, but you will feature at some point, Impala. Now, where's the hornbill? Because there's normally so many hornbills here. I'm going to just carefully check. Check that there's none sitting there. We have to find one here on quarantine. I'll be so shocked. Whew. There are mongoose everywhere today. Wow, okay. Right. I'm confused now. I can't figure out what exactly Tristan has got, but apparently it starts with a Y.
We do. We have a yellow-billed hornbill. Well, what we think would be a yellow-billed hornbill, and well, when you're struggling, this is what you sort of delve into, is getting into using signboards to be able to get our hornbill. So that is a sign that is on one of the roads. So whether or not it counts, I'm not quite sure. It's got a bit of yellow in the back from the grass, so we'll just count it as our yellow-billed hornbill for now. What do you think, Seb?
I agree.
Agreed. Okay, awesome. That's it. Yellow-billed hornbill done. We did water monitor already, so what's next after that? X. No, sorry, I had to do X first now. Ooh, X is going to be a tough one. What am I going to do for X? Why have I got the harder side of the alphabet? I don't know if this is fair, but let's try and see if we can find an X. Flaky bark acacia would be one that I could use, but I don't know of any flaky barks around here. Shongile would be nice, I agree. If I can find a batelier, the Shangaan name for that is a Shamungwe, which would work. Let's see, what else can I find for X? No, Shongololo's with an S. I'll have to think about this one a little bit longer. Hornbill, but I believe Miss McCurdy has found H and has got real deal.
We do, and this one definitely counts. It's a yellow-billed hornbill. We'll just take the H part of that, and it's hopping around in the grass at the moment. It's actually being quite entertaining. Look how quick they can go. And unlike this, well, I suppose the starlings sort of run more than bounce. Babblers like to bounce around the ground, and hornbills like to do that too. Very interesting technique they use to move around. Of course, they can walk normally too, but sometimes it is quicker if you put 2 feet together and hop about. How cool is that? They're such beautiful birds. They're really entertaining to watch. If you ever get the opportunity to come on a safari, oh, there we go. What is it eating? You can really spend so much time watching the hornbills. And you often see hornbills and starlings and things around rest camps. Say if you go and visit the Kruger National Park, they're very easy to habituate. We've got a couple that live around camp, but they're red-billed hornbills, and they annoy us so much. They peck on your windows, they peck on your car windows, they the whole day. It's really funny to sit and watch them. And the two that we've got that seem to come to camp every single day look slightly deranged as well. They don't look like it's all there. Look at this. This is going from Weltheria to Weltheria. Don't tell Tristan about the plant that I've just mentioned either, Megan, because otherwise he might get that one. I don't think he's remembered Weltherias. Well, maybe he has. Maybe he's already thought of that. But we'll just keep it quiet for now, because that's what I'm going to use for W. And it seems to be picking off all sorts of little insects. But I haven't been able to exactly see what it's getting. Maybe grasshoppers. Although I've also seen a couple of butterflies that have just been sitting very still on the grass every now and then. Let's see if we can get what it's... See how it's looking up into the tops of the grass. Looking down at the base. I'd actually enjoy being a hornbill for a day too. Especially a yellow-billed hornbill. And they also look like they're wearing trousers. They're fluffy legs. Here we go. That could look like a tasty morsel of some sort. I can't quite see what it is, but too far away. No, it's gone now. Right. Let's do I for impala. There's a whole bunch of them. Hello, impala. All running around. Beautiful. There's two in the middle grooming themselves. That's quite nice. Very peaceful down at Voyatilla Dam this morning. Well, not that we've got to the dam yet. There might be all sorts of commotion at the water that I can't just see. But the impala seem to be fairly relaxed. Quite a few males, as you can spot, and amongst the herd too. Not too many females. Actually, more youngsters, more young rams than anything here. And then a couple of larger rams. So I think it's sort of a mix at the moment. We're looking at a breeding herd as well as a bachelor herd. I think they've obviously just come together. Whether they were drawn here because of water, that could be the cause. But I don't think that those older rams will be living with this breeding herd. See a couple of females there too, with their youngsters from last year or the beginning of this year. Wonderful. Let's go to the dam. Let's see what else we can find. What are we going to do? We're on now J. No. Ooh. Gaming Fox, you say J for jackal. It's a good one. Jackalberry. There, I'm going to show you a jackalberry. Let's do that. We'll just go around very quickly. And then we've got one for, we've got K. Kingfisher. After that, we're going to start preparing. Okay, you've just got to bear with me for 2 seconds as we go down and through this dip, and then we get up onto the other side, and I'll show you a beautiful big jackalberry. Here we go. Here's a jackalberry right here. Isn't that lovely? One of our largest trees that we get in the area, and always growing typically near water along drainage systems and things like that. Let's go to the water's edge and see if we can maybe spot a kingfisher. Knob-billed duck.